Hi, my name is Tola K, and I'm the author of the best-selling Survival Guide series, which is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and iBooks. This is the 11th in a series of instructional films and part 3 of my introduction to the iPad 3. And today I'm going to talk about the top 10 applications that you can download for your new iPad. Now, we're going to talk about one art editing program called Sketchbook, and Sketchbook Pro is actually this one here. And then we're going to talk about two games, Modern Combat 3 and Inifinity Blade 2. Both look great on the new iPad. And then we're going to talk about iPhoto, a photo editing program. Two educational apps, Solar Walk, which is an astronomy application, and Art Authority, an art history application. An application for composing and recording music, Garageband. An application for reading eBooks, Kindle, very popular app. And then here we have Newsstand, but actually the one I wanted to talk about is the one in the Newsstand, and that's New York Times. Again, looks excellent on the new iPad. And last but definitely not least is the Photon web browser, which actually allows you to view Flash content online, because the Safari will not allow you to do that. Alright, and let's begin. The first application I'd like to show you is called Sketchbook Pro. That's just for drawing. So let's open that up. And this application pretty much allows you to draw. And you have different tools for painting and drawing that you can select on the left here. So you can do something very simple like that, or something a little more elaborate. That a little more abstract here. You can also change the colors on the right here. And you can also work with shapes. I touch this icon at the top. So let's say I want to draw a circle. Touch, drag, and there you go. I have a circle. It also has some more advanced tools, such as working with layers. So I can add a new layer. Now if I want to hide this one, just touch the eye. And now that I have this layer, I'm going to draw something different on it. Let's say I want to draw a few circles. And then I can also move layers, so I can put, let's say, this layer on top of the other one. So I touch, move it. Now the other one will be on top of the one I just drew. And I can merge layers. So let's say I select this layer, I can merge it with the one below it. Touch that down arrow, touch merge, and the layers are now together. And I can always delete layers as well. So if I create a new layer, touch this right here, and the layer is deleted. I can also add text. So touch this A at the top here, and we got Sketchbook Pro. Can't see it too well, but it's there. You can add text. And I can also undo or redo anything I just did. So I'm just going to cancel that text. That was just for a demonstration. I can also undo or redo what I just did. So let's say I do undo, and the text is gone. Can I do again to unmerge the layers? So Sketchbook Pro has these kinds of features, and you can also change certain things with gestures. So here I'm changing the opacity, and I can also change the size of the brush. So see, the size of the brush is changing. Alright, and that is the Sketchbook Pro application for the iPad. The next two applications I'd like to show you are the two best looking games on the iPad, or at least two of the best looking games. So first one is Modern Combat 3. I'm going to flip the screen here so you can see it better. And this is a first-person shooter. I can skip the intro. And as you can see already, the graphics are really sharp on the new iPad. So I'm going to touch campaign. Now that one started. Just for a little demonstration.
James Walker and Anvil 1 are deployed in...
Fortunately, I have to wait for it to load a little while.
The team is ordered to infiltrate the National Security Agency building. If you can't pull the drive...
So it uses the gyroscope
Hurry!
to look around. Just like that. You can kind of turn as if you're right there. And then uses this to walk. So a virtual control stick. And then you got a button to fire. Now your grenades right here. And you crouch. So it's pretty much standard first-person shooter. And it looks great on this iPad. And that's Modern Combat 3. And you can switch weapons up here. And the next game is Inifinity Blade 2. So let's jump right into that one. This is a sword fighting game, and one of the most popular on the iPad. And this one is going to run you $6.99, whereas Modern Combat 3 is also $6.99. And Sketchbook is $4.99. So just to get you caught up there. Just give you a little demo. You got this little cutscene here. And you can always skip it by touching over there, but just to show off the graphics, I'll let it play through. You can kind of like... So I'm not doing so well here. To play upside down. And then you get your shield right here. And you get certain power-ups. So this will allow you to do a super hit. And then you got some magic here and it'll allow you to draw a pattern for a magic spell. And so there's blocking, there's parrying. So, another great looking game on the new iPad. And those are Modern Combat 3 and Inifinity Blade 2, both for $6.99 in the App Store. The next app I'd like to show you is used for photo editing, and that's iPhoto. So let's open that up. And as you can see, it allows you to choose from your albums. We got the camera roll album here, for instance. We're gonna open that up, and we have our mascot, Vixen the cat. And you can do many different things with this application. You can crop photos, kind of move it around, choose which one you want. And here I was just hitting undo, so kind of to bring it back and demonstrate some other tools. You can touch this icon to adjust the contrast. You can also touch this palette icon here, and you can adjust the color in the photo. So here I'm adding more color, less color, so here it is in black and white. I can add more blue colors, or take away. Same with green, so here I'm adding more green, less green, and same with red as well. And I can also just do automatic settings here. So sunny day, for instance, or if I use a flash. So those are some of the ways that you can edit the pictures. You can also touch these paintbrushes down here, and I can repair a photo, which will just automatically make it look as good as it can look. Or I can manually adjust. So for instance, if I want to lighten, choose that brush. And I can actually just do this, and then we'll lighten the parts of the photo that I touch a little bit. So there are a few brushes that you can use to edit the picture. You can also change it to a certain theme, to a preset theme. So let's say choose the vintage. Now I just touch it and it'll actually turn it into a vintage photograph. So let's see if we can choose a different one that can kind of show it off a little better. So let's say we do artistic. So it just changes the way the photo appears. Or we can make it black and white, different types of black and white. It's very customizable here. And you can also view all your photos. Right here is the albums button at the top. So it just brings up the album and I can touch another photo to go to it. That's how you use iPhoto on the iPad. And iPhoto is going to run you $4.99 in the App Store. The next two applications I'd like to show you are educational apps. The first one is an astronomy app. It's called Solar Walk, and that's available for $2.99 in the App Store. And you can use it to explore our galaxy. So here it zooms into the Earth, and you can rotate it, you can zoom in on it. Also looks great on the iPad 3, the new iPad. And if you touch a planet in the distance, it'll actually zoom in on it, and you can kind of explore it here. And you can always hit the I button in the top left of the screen to read more about the planet. So you can learn more here. So some general info, facts and figures, so some stats here, and then the internal structure, and also which missions are currently going on or have gone on in the past. So what are we doing to explore these planets? And one of the most interesting features that I've found on this is you can actually change the time. So here's the timeline on the right, and if I hit the year, I can actually go back in time to see what the alignment was like. So you can see the here the moons of Saturn orbiting it, and same thing goes for Earth. So here we have the Earth, and you can adjust the timeline on the right side here and go back, see what it looked like many years ago. And you can also hit this menu on the bottom right here. You can turn the music on and off. There are some movies that you can watch. So for instance,
solar eclipse.
You can watch solar eclipse and see how that happens.
Solar eclipse, and when does it happen? Any object.
You can capture the screen. So a few other features here. And actually there's also a 3D feature. So if you put on these old school red and blue glasses, you can see this entire application in 3D. And that is the Solar Walk application on the new iPad. The second educational app that I'd like to show you is called Art Authority. This one is the priciest of all the applications I'll show you today. It actually cost me $9.99, but you can also buy it for $4.99 right now. It's on sale, so I'm not sure how long that will last, but if you are an art history buff or would like to become an art history buff, this is a great app, and it will show you paintings from anywhere early, so up to the 1400s, or you got Impressionists later, 1800s, 1800s to 1950s, and even up to contemporary art from all over the world. So I'm going to hit Impressionist just to give you a little idea of what they have, and then I'm going to hit the French Impressionists. It actually allows you to choose the painter. So let's say I want to look at Degas' paintings. And now I have the thumbnails of the available paintings right on the right here. And I can touch one. And then to view it full screen, I can do this. And for paintings that are meant to be viewed in portrait view, you can actually just rotate and view them like this. You can zoom in on them to view the details. And I can always return to browsing them like this. And there are also a couple of search features, so I can just browse all Impressionist artists here if I just don't remember the name of the artist. And I can also learn more about the application. And go into directory. So here we have artists, just some highlights in this one, highlights from all of the artists. And that's basically the Art Authority application. And again, this will run you about $9.99, but it is on sale right now for $4.99. The next application I want to demonstrate is used for composing and recording music, and it's called Garageband. And it goes for $4.99 in the App Store. So let's open that up. Now this is one of the most fun apps if you love music, even if you don't know how to play any instruments. It's very friendly, and you can kind of mess around with it. So here you get to choose from several different instruments. So I'm going to show you the keyboard first. So on the keyboard, as it opens up, you'll notice you can, just touch it, play up and down. And you can also switch it, so you can play by one key, and if you touch and hold and drag, and you can play on different parts of the piano. It doesn't all fit here. However, you can also touch it and make it a bigger keyboard. So you can kind of play both at the same time. So I'm just going to put it back to where it was. You can also change how it reacts to your finger. So if you touch it more softly, it plays softer. If you touch it with more force, it's more loud. But you can change that right here with the velocity. So now I'm touching it with more force and it sounds just the same. Or, alternately, touching it very softly and it's very loud, so you kind of can go in between those two settings. You can also turn on the sustain pedal. Obviously just virtual here, there's no actual pedal. So when you hit a key, it will sustain. And you can change the kind of piano too. So we can make an electric piano, or let's say we can make it an organ even. And you can customize some settings for the organ to kind of give it a different sound. And that's basically the keyboard. And if you touch the instruments button at the top, you can switch to a different instrument. So let's say I want to switch to guitar. We actually have smart guitar, only smart guitar. And smart guitar allows you to play the guitar even if you don't know how. So there are preset chords. I'll kind of play it for you. You can also, however, play it note by note. So if you note chord yourself, or if you want to just play some finger picking, you can also do this. So a little bit hard to hit here upside down, and it also allows you to bend strings, so to get that kind of sound right here. And you can change the type of guitar as well, so you can make it sound more like an electric guitar. You can do different pedals as well, kind of give it a different sound. And that's basically the guitar. Actually, one more thing that I wanted to show you with the guitar is you can turn on autoplay, so that's right here. Turn it on, you just touch a chord and it'll play it. So also very easy. And the other instrument I'll show you is the drums. So you can either play the drums yourself, or hit the instruments button again up here. You can do smart drums. And in smart drums, you can drag these drums over to this little table. And it says more complex or simple or quieter or louder. And you can drag it to different parts of this table to kind of create. And they will kind of work with each other. Or you can hit this dice right here and just create a random pattern. You can also record in Garageband. And there's also smart strings, which allows you to play violin, cello, basses, viola, those kinds of instruments, and works the same way as the guitar. And as I was saying, you can also record. So if you hit this record up here, you kind of count in. And it'll kind of keep playing, and you can record more layers on it. So if you hit this button up here to go to your composed tracks, you can add more tracks, and you can delete this track, so you kind of touch it. You can hit delete, or you can loop it. So many different tools you can use. I hit the plus here, add another track. So that is the Garageband application, and it goes for $4.99 in the App Store. I'd like to show you the Kindle application next, and this is this e-reader for the iPad. Now as you open it, you can see you can browse your books with their covers displayed right here in the library, or you can also view them as a list, just like this if you find this more convenient. And you can group them by touching cloud or device at the bottom. So these are the ones that are actually loaded on the device. And then I hit cloud down at the bottom, and it shows me the ones that are just in the Amazon clouds or in the Amazon servers. And you can download them at any time by just touching them. So the ones with the arrows here, they're the ones that are not on the device right now. I can just touch it and it'll download it real quick. So here we have the Kindle Fire Survival Guide. And then to read a book, we just touch it, and very intuitive, flipping the pages just like that. And it allows some other options as well. It allows you to change some other settings. So you can turn the page a sepia color, white on black. You can change the size of the font, so that kind of thing. You can also adjust the in-app brightness, so you adjust the brightness here, but it doesn't actually adjust the brightness of the rest of the iPad, just for this particular application. And you can also navigate to the table of contents. So you can go to another chapter, for instance. You can search the book for a word or a phrase. If you came from the table of contents, for instance, you can always go back. So you hit this back button. Let's see if we can bring it back up. Here we go. And it goes back to the table of contents or to the previous page. You can also add bookmarks, and then if you bookmark something, you can always find it later. It doesn't want to bookmark that page. You can always find it later. Right down here, my notes and marks, and here are all my bookmarks and highlights and notes. So you can actually also add highlights. If you touch and hold a word, let's say I want to highlight this whole line, do that, and I can highlight it, or I can add a note. So let's say I'm studying something. Again, I touch and hold, touch note, and then I can type a note for later, save it, and it'll kind of appear right here, and I can always touch it to view that note. The other really useful feature is that I can define words. So if there's a word that I don't know in a book I'm reading, touch and hold it, definition appears right at the bottom here, and then I can touch full definition and it appears in the dictionary, and I can actually browse the dictionary as well. And that is the Kindle app on the new iPad. And the Kindle app goes for free in the App Store. Another application that looks great and is really informative on the iPad is the New York Times. Now when you download the New York Times, you'll have this newsstand icon appear on your home screen, and if you touch it, you will see New York Times right here. So if you download any other newspaper apps, they will appear right here on the shelf. So I'm going to open the New York Times, and it shows you the most recent news right here on the front page. And if you flip, you can actually go to other sections. So you have the opinion section right here, the world, US news, politics news, regional news. You can also go to a different section by touching section here. So let's say I want to read health news. So here we go. And to read one of the articles, all I gotta do is just touch it, and the article comes up. Now, if I want to go back, I just touch here, health, at the bottom. There are also video news that you can view. It'll look something like this. So if you hit play, actually some news that you can view in the form of videos. And that's essentially the New York Times application for the iPad. And this, best of all, is free in the App Store. The 10th and final application I'd like to show you is the Photon Flash Browser, which you can purchase in the App Store for $4.99. Now, unlike the Safari browser that's provided by Apple on your iPad, you can actually view Flash content online using this browser. So let's open the Photon browser up. And before you can view Flash content, you just have to hit this lightning bolt in the top right corner. And once Flash is turned on, you can use Flash sites such as this site called Monoface, one of the more popular Flash sites. And you can interact with the sites as well. And that's really the only difference between this browser and Safari. I actually found that this browser was somewhat faster on loading just regular sites with no Flash on them. And you have tab browsing, so you can add tabs, and you can delete them, and you can bookmark, view your history, all of that. So everything is pretty much the same, except that you can view Flash content online. And again, this is available in the App Store for $4.99. And those are all of the applications that I wanted to show you today. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to post them in the comments. I usually respond within about a day. And also check out the new iPad survival guide on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and iBooks. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.